as the 32nd board is shown ahead of this 15-minute race for the Yokohama Ma7da 7 Championship. Danny Andrew in the blue car, Ben Powney in the orange. It's Jonathan Lister in the green car on the second row of the grid, and the dark coloured 56 car is Daniel Sibbons. Lights go out, the race gets underway, an even start from the two of them on the front row of the grid. They disappear down towards Copse for the first time. It's going to be side by side between both Andrew and Powney as they head into the first corner. They see the 18 car going through as well, which is Stephen Kimber. But as they disappear over the crest and down towards Maggots, it is the blue car that shows in front. So that's Danny Andrew. Ben Powney very sideways in second place. He's going to lose a hatful of places there. A spin as well for the number 24 car. And that's Martin Farrelly, the 2016 Sport Special Class B champion, that is rotating and getting back onto the circuit, or not, because stuck in the gravel there, I'm afraid. We've got the rest of the field, though, heading down the Wellington Straight, and the leaders already into Luffield for the first time.
Yeah, Martin Farrelly managed to get going. I think it was another car in avoidance, went off into the gravel, so we'll try and work out who that is at the end of this lap. But don't be too surprised to see someone who runs 6th or 7th at the start of this race to possibly come through to win it, because we're going to see, I'm sure, plenty of slipstreaming once again as they all go across the line to complete lap number 1. It's Danny Andrew who does in fact lead the way. It's pretty close for second here. I think Jonathan Lister sits there in third, and it's the 43 car just ahead of David Mason, who's jumped up into second place from 5th on the grid. So really good start for him as they make their way for the second time down towards the left and right flick of Maggots and Beckett's, but I think there'll be a yellow flag down there on this occasion. Yeah,
we had 17 cars come back past the timing line at the end of lap 1. We watched the number 43 car of David Mason, and then sort of lighter of the two green cars. He's in second position at the moment. Jonathan Lister, the dark of the green cars, number 71, is in third spot. And you can see that car in the background, still with the driver on board. Frustrated, no doubt, that his race has come to a premature end. You can see him in the background there. Lister under pressure from Daniel Sibbons in the 56 car as they turn their way through Luffield Corner. Ben Powney trying to make up some of those places that he lost with that rather exuberant moment down at Beckett's. The landscaper from Hive can't get past Daniel Sibbons on that occasion, but he will have another go, I think, on the way down into Copse Corner.
Yeah, tried to pick up the slipstream there from Jonathan Lister, but then Jonathan Lister got back into line ahead of the number 56 car of Daniel Sibbons. So he wasn't able to pull his way through, but he sits there in 5th place. So he's there or thereabouts, which is good. Just gives a wave or a adjustment of the mirror just to see what's happening behind. And that's the car of number 35, which is David Winter. But all line astern at the minute for the top 7. I think it's Martin Shelton, isn't it, in car number 99, who's just about hanging on to those ahead at the minute. But it's a 7-car train on its way down the Wellington Straight once again. We've had 3 minutes so far, and it's Danny Andrew who leads by about half a second.
Indeed, it is. Daniel Courts had a good first couple of laps, up to 10th place from 20th on the grid. I don't think he was perhaps got a representative lap time in qualifying, certainly going much better in the race than he did in qualifying. So, Danny Andrew leading, David Mason 43 is in second place. Bit of a gap back now to the third place car, 56 Daniel Sibbons. Then it's 71 Jonathan Lister, 37 Ben Powney, and 35 David Winter. So about a second between second and third, but that's the kind of gap that can easily be overcome in this kind of racing. These cars which have little in the way of aerodynamics, they're pretty much brick shaped with a roll cage on top, aren't they? So they don't cut a very effective passage through the air, and that really does lend itself to some great slipstreaming racing, and you can use that toe to get back onto terms with cars that are within reasonable reach, although as I say that, the gap does appear to have gone out between Mason and Sibbons a bit more, and so maybe that's beyond a gap that you can sort of toe back onto, because Sibbons, I think, distracted by trying to defend from Jonathan Lister, who goes down the inside here into Brooklands Corner. He loses 1 place, almost 2, but he just about cuts off the advances of Ben Powney there as they turn this time into Luffield for the 4th time.
Yeah, and I think the key point here, of course, is working together. That's what needs to be in the minds of these 4 cars. So Jonathan Lister with the likes of Daniel Sibbons, Ben Powney, and also David Winter. They just need to kind of stop fighting for a little while just to see if they can bridge the gap to the top 2, which on this occasion goes from what was around about just about a second is now 1.3 seconds. So it has grown very gradually, although the top 3 have just done their best laps of the race, the quickest of those being Danny Andrew on a 106.97. So he's comfortable out front by those 0.4 of a second. But let's see now what the likes of the new 3rd place man could do. Daniel Sibbons has finally managed to get his way through on Jonathan Lister, but let's see now if they can calm themselves down as Ben Powney in the background there really chucking the car about, ran very wide, and again he loses a couple of car lengths to the car of David Winter ahead.
Down the Wellington straight they come. Jonathan Lister up the inside of Daniel Sibbons there, and he slices his way through into 3rd position, and now he will hopefully sort of try and work with the cars behind him to get back onto the tail of the top 6 or the top 2 to make it a 6-car train. Danny Andrew and David Mason a little bit quicker up in front. Best lap of the race so far to David Winter, a 106.93. David Mason set the lap record in the opening race, a 106.79. So we'll see if that lap record is reduced in this second race. Temperatures probably just slightly warmer now than they were earlier on, but still a pretty cool day here at Silverstone, so ideal conditions, you'd think, for setting fast lap times. 9 minutes of the race left to go.
Through go the top 2 once again. All action for 3rd place it remains then, as Daniel Sibbons tries to keep Jonathan Lister behind. David Winter behind them in 5th place. And Ben Powney is just losing a little bit of time, isn't he, from that moment he had a lap ago, and he's struggling to close the gap back down. But it won't take too much for him to catch back up if they again start fighting up the road, which they will do now, because Jonathan Lister looks for a move for 3rd place. So down the inside line he goes of number 56, and it's Lister this time who gets himself back onto the podium. And before you know it, Ben Powney's back with them once again. So he dropped off the tails for a short while, but now he makes it a 4-way fight for 3rd place once again. But the important thing is to see if this gap between 2nd and 3rd is coming down. 1.2 seconds it was last time through. They crossed the line this time to go on to lap number 7, and it now sits at 1.3, so it has grown gradually.
Yeah, it has, hasn't it? Loneliest man in this race is Martin Shelton in 7th place. He has got no other cars within 3 seconds of him either way, either forwards or behind. James Lewis Barnes, though, is in 8th place, I'm pleased to report, in the 38 car. He was that non-starter earlier on today, or non-finisher I should say, earlier on today. The snatch vehicle is just about on the scene now to recover the car that went off on lap number 1. Let's continue to watch this battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th though, as Danny Andrew continues to lead from David Mason. They'll go side by side down the Wellington straight into Brooklands Corner. Lister it is going to be that holds on. Sibbons next up in 4th, and Ben Powney trying to go around the outside there of the number 35 car, David Winter, as they make their way back towards Woodcut Corner once again. And this is to complete lap number 7 of the race with 7 minutes left to go. Earlier on it was a 14-lap race, so we're basically now at half distance.
Yeah, we sure are, but they're not really listening, are they, about the non-fighting element of this race. It's good for us again, but they are losing touch to the top 2. So the other kind of theory you need to chuck in now is the top 2 need to start fighting to try and bring these 4 cars together to them once again. So that could be something to bear in mind, but I think Danny Andrew has just got enough of a comfortable lead now not to worry about what's happening behind, because David Mason is a second or so back from Danny, and then that gap between 2nd and 3rd is continuing to extend now to 2 seconds, as we're going to have another move, I'm sure, before too much longer. I think it's going to come from Ben Powney on this occasion, but no, not quite close enough there, so he sits behind the number 35 car of David Winter, and nothing really changes that time, because even Jonathan Lister sits there and waits his turn behind Daniel Sibbons. So let's see what this occasion brings as they come up towards the line. 2.03 seconds between 2nd and 3rd. Let's see if it comes down anymore, as Jonathan Lister wants to try and get himself back onto the podium again as he draws alongside for 3rd place, but then loses the draft. As soon as you pull out, you lose that kind of slipstream and you fall back to where you were again.
update on the lap record. That's now gone to Ben Powney, 106.70. So that's a slice another 900ths off the mark that that David Mason set in the first race. But Ben Powney, despite all of that, is still sitting there in 6th position. He might get to 5th there because David Winter runs quite wide on the exit of Beckett's corner. And up front, Andrew now pulling away from David Mason as well. The gap between them is approaching 2 seconds. So we might well get the case that Daniel Sibbons closes in and catches David Mason, but Danny Andrew will be out of sight by then. And Sibbons there makes a mistake and Lister pops through to 3rd.
Yep, uses a bit more of the track than he needed to, and of course some of the runoff as well, which is available here at Silverstone. This time though, across the line it's going to be Ben Powney trying to pull alongside the 35 car of David Winter, but again he lost that toe, so he drops back in. He'll try and do something similar down towards Copse Corner, but is he going to be alongside? He's going to leave his brake until the last possible minute, but again he has to pull back in. So running slightly wide there is David Winter, which will give him some forward momentum on the run down towards Maggots on this occasion, but no move being made by Ben. 3rd in the first race earlier today, currently sits in 6th place with now 2/3 of this race completed.
Driving standards flag going out to car 43, David Mason, so he needs to watch his step and watch his use of the circuit extremities as well, because he might well find that he gets a 5-second penalty if he's not too careful, which he can't really afford at the moment because he's got 4 other cars ganging up on him now to make it a 5-car battle for 2nd position before too much longer. Certainly Danny Andrew out in front looks a little bit more comfortable now with 4 minutes of the race left to go. This is complete lap 10, so 4 laps to go, I reckon, now in this race. And we've watched this battle quite a lot during this race, but really has been the battle of the race, hasn't it? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th. There are other good scraps going on down the order. You can see that James Lewis Barnes has lost a position since I last place checked him. Simon Court, number 55, has got through. There a little bit further back, we've got James Millman in the 63 car, just behind 1, Colin Marshall, and 24, Martin Farrelly. Of course, he was involved in the incident at the first corner, and 69, Thomas Bates, has had a spin.
Yep, so Tom spins round. I think he had a spin in race number 1 as well, if memory serves me right. So another spin there to add to the collection, but he rejoins just in front of the race leader, Danny Andrew, who now has almost a 3-second lead over David Mason, who's not yet been caught by Jonathan Lister by the looks of things, because again he's still involved in his own battle as they head towards the completion of another lap. So just wondering if Jonathan can fire himself up. Double winner from last year, but he's still got a lot of people behind to watch out for. In fact, all those people, as they go past our commentary position, are now ahead of him. So Jonathan's had a really tardy lap as we focus on Martin Farrelly in 10th, Colin Marshall in 11th, and James Millman's now right with the number 1 car, and he's going to try and get the move done as they come up to the completion of their next lap. But that allows Martin Farrelly to have a little bit of a breather now in that 10th place.
Yeah, and I don't think he's going to get any further up the order. He's quite a long way behind James Lewis Barnes, who's in 9th. We're back with the battle for the leading positions, and it's sort of spread itself out a bit now, with Mason still there in 2nd. There's Danny Andrew just disappearing out, shot in the lead of the race. Number 27, David Mason, 43 in 2nd. Ben Powney looking to get back into the podium places here, and he does so. Down the inside he goes of Daniel Sibbons there into Brooklands. Jonathan Lister has just dropped away a little bit, hasn't he, from the back of this group as well, by the looks of it. It was a slower lap from him last time, so I wonder if Jonathan Lister possibly has got a problem. Just keeping an eye out of my window, he's still circulating. I thought he might dive for the pit lane, but there's only 2 laps to go. But I think that Jonathan Lister probably does have a problem.
Yeah, he was running in 3rd, wasn't he? Then dropped on that lap previously to 6th and has now fallen a couple of seconds adrift of David Winter. So I think the main thing for him is just to get some valuable points, of course. Now that this is a championship, it's about picking up solid points. So if you finish inside the top 6, that should put you in good stead for some points. So we'll carry on now, as you said, with just under 60 seconds remaining within this race. But is anything going to unfold here for 2nd, 3rd and 4th? Well, possibly not for 2nd, because I think David Mason may have enough in hand here, especially with side-by-side action like this, as down the inside line goes David Winter to try and get himself onto the podium for the first time this weekend. He finished 4th in race number 1. He's 4th at the minute, but he's all over the back of Ben Powney to try and get that final step of the podium away from him. And then not too far adrift is the number 56 machine as well, which is Daniel Sibbons. So plenty to unfold. 3 cars vying for the final step on the podium as we now work our way, by the looks of things, onto the last lap.
Yeah, last lap board is indeed out. Danny Andrew leading by just under 5 seconds, so he has checked out basically for the win. David Mason probably going to take second, but 3rd, 4th and 5th still very much up for dispute. Simon Court now has got up to 6th place in 55 ahead of Jonathan Lister, who probably is going to lose another few places here before the end of this race, but still you get points for finishing, even if you are further down the order. David Mason, who's already had a warning for exceeding track limits, has gone over the white lines again at Beckett, so again, we'll see what happens there. Anything that will be done after the race now at this stage, but he's there in 2nd place for the moment, and it's side by side for 3rd and 4th between between Winter and Ben Powney. Powney it is that's going to get 3rd place, but it looks like David Mason will hold on to 2nd. Meanwhile, Danny Andrew already coming up to the line, and he takes the checkered flag and wins round 2 of the championship. Who is going to be 2nd? It looks like it's again going to be a blanket finish for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Well, absolutely sensational stuff, and it's just David Mason, car 43, that gets 2nd position by 100th from Ben Powney, number 37.
Thank you very much, Ian. Yes, with our race winner there, Danny Andrew, 2nd race of the day, but this time a little bit calmer than race 1.
Yeah, I just managed to get the break, what I didn't get last time. I knew we had the pace to pull away, but just never got a chance to show it last time. So yeah, that one was definitely a little bit easier.
It was a bit dramatic at the start of the race. I'm not sure if you were part of it or avoided it. I think you were leading the way at the start, but there was a couple of spins at the back, and I think you managed to avoid all of that.
Yeah, Ben got the launch off the start on me again. My reactions are obviously going with age, but yeah, then went round the outside and went the first corner, and that was all I really saw, to be perfectly honest, which was good. So
yeah, it was quite dramatic through the Maggots-Beckett section of the track, but like you say, you managed to avoid that one. Compared to race 1 earlier today, obviously, like I say, a lot calmer, a lot more smoother, and a great result for you again, 2 wins.
Yeah, definitely, and it was nice to show what pace we could do in clean air as well, which I think was quite competitive. Although I did have a bit of a scare about 3 laps from the end. The engine started making a bit of a funny noise, so maybe that's just leading the race. But I've got to say hello to Max, Zach and Laura, because I got in trouble last time, so you know, it might ease the grief when I get home.
Excellent stuff. Well, well done for this one, and hopefully we'll see you at Donington Park.
Thank you very much.